Takiwātanga in his, her, their own time and space.
Being cool. The kids that are in his class that have autism, super cool.
Autism's about a different perspective on life.
And once you've met one autistic person, you've met one autistic person.
There is nothing wrong with having autism, you know. The hardest thing with autism and intellectual disability and that is sometimes accepting it.
They bring change, they are non-judgmental.
Being different ways to thinking.
I'm autistic. If you don't look autistic, it is a very ableist statement.
Autism is a label. Forget the label and just live as normal life as possible. Autism is about hope.
Takiwātanga. Love Not Cure, exploring autism one strength at a time.
How do you manage yourself?
Coffee. Pretty much.
Does that increase the anxiety more?
How do I manage? I don't know, to be fair.
Every day you're surviving.
Yeah,
right?
I mean, I'm very lucky to be able to work from home. I've got two older daughters who sort of look after him a couple of 3 days a week, which allows me to, at the moment, and only just recently, get sort of half a day out away from home to try and focus on work. And I'm got flexible hours, so I can carry on working in the evening. So I've been very lucky that way. How do I look after myself? I get up before him in the morning. I have my breakfast, I have coffee, I do some stretching, and I just sit quietly. So I find that really, really useful. I'm looking forward to summer to try and be able to get out for a walk. Sometimes I will just go to the supermarket to buy something I don't need, just so that I can get out of the house. I think the biggest stretch, I realised it was about 2 weeks, and I thought to myself, I've not left the house at all, because I've been looking after him. So I said, look, I'm going to go buy some chips for us, and I went to the supermarket, and that was my break.
Do you bring him with you?
No.
Okay.
No, he's got older siblings at home, but he's also old enough and
look after him.
Yeah. He's got an iPad and he can message me or call me on Messenger if he needs anything. So I've got no concerns about leaving him for a short time. Yeah, and the dads groups catch ups, they help fill the bucket a bit, but one foot in front of the other, minute by minute, really. I try not to think about it. It is a slog, and
it became your routine.
Yeah.
This is your normal.
Yeah, very much a frog in a pot sort of thing, right? You know, you just. Some other people might look in and go, the water's boiling. You're like, oh, is it? But it's not. I mean, it's not all bad, right? Like I have some great times. My son and I play Fortnite together, Minecraft. We play. We have some great laughs. So it's not. Yes, it's hard, and I can't just. I was quite surprised I made it into this. Awesome. Which is awesome. I have two rules in my house. One is, you don't hit the dogs, basically, and the other one is you don't threaten people online in terms of your friends and stuff. And that's kind of it. The rest of the time, it is a dialogue about things rather than a hard rule. A dialogue around doing teeth, because when you're lying next to me or when I'm hanging out with you and your breath doesn't smell too good, I don't really enjoy that. So it would be nice, if you could do your teeth so that I don't have to put up with that. And it becomes a choice for him. And it becomes a thing where he understands that it's something that I don't really like, and I'm not making him do his teeth, but,
Kind of, what are the end result, like outcome?
Yeah. So, a lot of the interaction is equivalent to what you would have if you were talking to another adult, and it is a different way of being a dad to what
the conventional
being a dad, and it takes a lot of getting used to, and in the dad groups in particular, there's been a lot of feedback around it's really nice to be in a place where other dads just accept that this is, you can't just go, put your foot down, so to speak, because it just doesn't work.
Are all the dads in the group, the PDA group, which I just also joined, are they all have kids with PDA?
Yes. Yep. A couple of the dads also have PDA, which makes their world quite interesting.
Now I'm curious.
Because there's lots of, as an adult, right, there's lots of demands. There's demands everywhere, paying bills, doing everything like that.
Or if you have a boss.
Yeah, absolutely. The need to, prepare food for your kid because you're a parent and you've got to actually look after your kid. So all those things are demands that these dads are trying to support their kids to work through, but also need to work through themselves. And, they're amazing for being able to do that. But yeah, there's some really, it's just really nice to have a place where guys can just kind of go, man, I'm struggling.
You just, what do you call that? Vent out.
Vent, yeah, and there's just everyone wraps around them. We're all living the same journey, slightly different, different parts and different stages and whatnot, but we're all finding the, similar challenges.
Yeah, I spoke to one parent before. I was explaining, like, we're in the same boat. Someone might just be cleaning the floor to make sure everyone is not gonna sleep on the floor. Someone could probably navigating the wheel. Someone probably fixing the set. But at the end of the day, we're all here on the same boat, and kind of like it's easier to relate and easier to understand. And if someone says, my child is this and that, I know that because my experience is kind of the same. But yeah. And sometimes it's interesting to hear strategies that from other parents wherein when you apply it, it works.
Yeah. Your jaw, your hands, your shoulders, and when you take 10 seconds to just stop and think about how you're holding your body, you very quickly realize that actually I've been tense for hours and I haven't thought, so just surviving through, just grabbing any moment I can to try and regroup and find something that's positive, really.
So how is the group? Is it New Zealand only group?
No, it's global.
Global.
Yep, there's about 380 odd members, so it's still very small, and it's a chance, and I hope, I haven't asked, but I hope there's some guys in there that have sort of found somebody in the group that they can talk to. You don't have to talk to the whole group. You can message things, you can post anonymously, you can do all that sort of stuff. It's I've never seen a situation in the group in the last sort of 18 months where there was any real disagreement. Everybody wraps around. It's been really cool. It's been an amazing thing to be part of.
Amazing! Yeah. And sometimes it's just talking to you like this one, like venting out. We were talking about venting out a while ago. Like, just even if you're not going to, because your challenge is different from my challenge, just kind of thing. You're not solving my problem. I cannot solve your problem. I don't know how to handle that. But even just by talking to one another and venting out, probably you have an idea on how to solve it. If not, that's okay as well, because you...
Yeah, absolutely. And, people will share a resource. They'll say, hey, someone showed me this. Might work for you, it might not. And you read it and you go, actually, there's a couple of good bits in that I might try. Or someone will say, hey, look, I used this phrase with my kid and it worked really well. The one I heard the other night when I was in a Zoom call with some PDA parents was the use of Alexa. They tried to get their kid to...
Is that the AI?
Yeah. I think it's the Android or Microsoft version of Siri. And so they tried to get their child to put down the tablet and stuff and get ready for bed at whatever time. And it wasn't particularly successful, so they set an alarm through Alexa, and Alexa, pipes up and goes, "It's bedtime now," and the kid's like, "Oh, okay, Alexa said it's bedtime." It's not this person who is
Demanding.
Yeah, demanding or trying to perceive. It's just, it's my, my AI friend who's reminded me.
It's not a human being.
Yeah, so, there's lots of tips and tricks like that, and it doesn't always work.
Yeah.
But
I'll write it down. Go ahead.
Yeah, but it's just a chance to share stuff and just have a community of people that get it.
Without naming names, what's the most challenging situation that you've seen so far in the group?
Well, it is a PDA group. It's for dads of kids with
PDA.
I think the biggest challenge I've seen is in situations where parents don't have the flexibility to homeschool, and their kid still needs to go to school, but they're not coping, and the parents acknowledge they're not coping, but there's no, they're kind of trapped into this. That's the hardest situation I think I've seen.
And you can see the eyes of the kid. What do you usually do in times like that, like the ice cream or even the car, like 3 hours sitting in the car?
Sit and wait. Look, the number of times where plans have had to change, or we've just had to not do something. When it first started, I used to get really, really frustrated and really, really angry, because it's like, come on, man, just get out of the car. Let's go do something. He has a very high level of emotional awareness and empathy, and responds strongly to my emotion. And I've had to learn to just stay calm, and it's hard. Yeah, so if we're in a situation like that and it's like, come on, let's get out of the car, sometimes you just have to wait. Distraction can help in terms of, just talking about something else, trying to change a subject, trying to start talking about something he might be interested in can help. With my lad, he's a sensory seeker, so opportunities to go on the tramp. Let's go jump on the tramp, or we just give him straight lemon juice, which he still sort of likes, and that seems, we found out quite early on that it sort of gives a sensory input that supports him. So, really strong flavours like that. And on a cape, it's hard to tell the percentages, but sometimes, if you can change the subject, and if you can start talking about something quite random and get his interest, then he might be okay to go and do that thing. But sometimes you've just got to sit and wait.
Right.
Yeah.
Just beside your house, or?
Yeah. Yep. In a car park. Yep. Wherever you happen to be.
So usually if you have plans for the day, like, I'm just making up things. So let's say you'll have a dinner tonight outside, just in assumption that he's okay with that.
Yep.
So basically once that PDA got triggered, you'll wait and your booking is gone.
Yeah.
Something like that
Yeah.
will happen, right?
Yeah. You can try. You can try the strategies. You can try. The sensory stuff that sometimes helps. You can, on occasion, bribes will work, as they do with any kid. A lot of information I find is really useful in terms of we're doing this dinner because here are some things, you're in charge. I find that's one of the best things in terms of supporting him in any situation. We went to the dentist a while back, and it's like, right, you're in charge. If you tap out, we leave. And he got through the whole dentist appointment because he knew that at any point in time he had the autonomy to say enough's enough. So it was all on his terms.
It's like he's in control of the decision.
Yep. By and large, the best thing, most of the support actually came from the kids. The kids were amazing. Like, just a whole generation of kids with unbelievable level of empathy and awareness. I went and talked to the kids because I was trying to get my son to use noise cancelling headphones to see if that helped. And obviously he didn't want to be the odd kid out. So the teacher talked to the kids, and the kids, I took in a dozen pairs of, cheap Mitre 10 headphone, just the red ones used for mowing the lawns. Took those in and said, look, if any kids want them, that's fine. And the teacher talked to the kids and said, this is the situation. They're here if anyone wants them. And I'll never forget, one of the kids said, look, I don't like wearing headphones, but if it helps him feel okay, I'll do it. So I was blown away. I mean, these kids are, they were about 7, and just amazing levels of empathy. And I think if we could harness that in some way right across our education system and beyond the education system, it'd be, we'd have a wonderful, wonderful place. It'd be amazing.
Right. That's so much. Sorry, I'm just conscious about the time.
That's good.
Misconception of PDA. Have you heard any misconception? He's just a lazy boy.
Lots of people don't believe in it.
Is it because we don't have like a formal...
Yeah, it's partly that. It's partly a confusion with opposition defiant disorder. I don't entirely understand the difference. There's some schools of thought that they're very different. There's schools of thought that they're closely aligned. There's different definitions. ODD's recognised, PDA's not. So there's all that sort of stuff going on. I think the biggest thing is it's just not known about. Autism there's a lot of awareness, obviously, which is great. There is a lot of stereo around, what autism looks like.
Yeah, like, you don't look autistic, what?
Yeah.
Do we have a model around?
Yeah, there's that meme, can you just do an autism for me? So there's all of that, and a lot of kids with PDA are very articulate. My son can dish out sarcasm and stuff really, really well. He's got an exceptional vocabulary. He's taught himself to read and maths, and a lot of them are really bright kids, but that doesn't mean they're not facing significant challenges. And because they seem articulate and not autistic, if you will, which is frustrating, right? Because if a kid is being naughty, there's a reason. Kids are generally good if they can be. If a kid's acting out, if you will, to use that term, something's going on with them. They're expressing an emotion somehow. Yeah, it'd be nice if we focus more on how kids are behaving and what's causing it, rather than you are autistic or you're not autistic, or you've got PDA or you've not got PDA. Do I get...
I mean, do you get a chance to go out with your son?
Sometimes. We went to a bushwalk and to the park the other week, which was awesome. It was really, really fun. Spent a lot of time spinning around on one of the big sort of contraptions at the park. It was an interesting dynamic when it came time to leave, because the demand to leave was a challenge. So we were there one night for 5 hours until it was dark, and his mother and sister came along and helped persuade him to go home. So it is always a challenge. It's a challenge to get him out. It's a challenge to get him home. Change is not his friend, but also. He's, as I said, he's a sensory seeker, so being able to swing and spin, and I've got chin-up bars throughout the house. I've got sensory swings in a couple of places, trampoline. I want to set up more stuff, but I have a slight theory that there's a bit of price gouging when it comes to sensory supports.
That's my theory too. Like, they're expensive.
Yeah.
And you'll find something similar from like the what you call that, the
noise cancelling.
Noise cancelling.
Yeah.
Find something similar that the tradies are using.
Yeah.
That's similar, but
$100 as opposed to $200 odd. So I've seen some amazingly, there's some amazing stuff, and I've always wanted to set up a sensory library. I was looking a little off topic for this, but never mind. Partly because you don't know whether it's going to work, right? You spend $300 on a sensory toy, it's not a toy. Sensory support. Some of them are cool toys, but they're not a toy. They're a tool. Weighted blankets, for example, ridiculous. I don't know whether it will work, because sometimes, weight is good and sometimes it's not, and I just don't know, and $300 is a lot of money, so haven't got one. Noise cancelling headphones, again, it's a lot of money. So I would love to be able to have a library where you can, pay a deposit and borrow some stuff and try it, and then return it, and even if it costs you $15 or $20, it's that'd be awesome to set up. But we're all parents and we're all time poor.
Right. And also, I remember when one of my friends, actually my boss, lent me a sensory blanket.
Oh, yep.
Just to test it out because she knows it costs a lot of money.
Yep.
So we tried it. It didn't work. Okay, good.
Yeah,
Right?
exactly. And you can always on-sell things, but
you won't be able to sell it the same way that you bought it. Right?
Exactly.
They will say like, you've used it. No, it's just once. You still use it, so half the price.
Yeah. And so I think the opportunity to try some of those sensory tools and supports it's not as good as it should be.
You don't have something like that here, like
I've not found something like that
anywhere in New Zealand.
Yeah, I've not found it. Look, it might exist. If anyone does know if it exists,
please.
Yeah. let us know. We'll definitely support it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know.